Resiliency or being resilient. What does that mean? Well, I want to welcome you to the Evolving Women podcast, where growth, healing, and empowerment aren't just ideas, they're a way of being. I'm Teresa Lisum, and each episode I'm joined by an extraordinary woman who is boldly shining her light in the world. And today I'm honored to be joined by Shannon Fox, who is bringing her real life experience, her heart centered wisdom, and her powerful stories to remind us all that we're not alone on this journey. This space is your permission slip to evolve, to expand, and to fully embody your most radiant and authentic self. So let's evolve together. Shannon, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
It is,
Teresa, for having me. I'm so excited.
it is such a pleasure and an honor. So resilient, resiliency, that seems to be a word that is thrown around sometimes a lot, but
Yes.
do we really know what that means? So I'm going to invite you to give us your definition
Well,
right
I,
now in
I
this
think that
moment.
resiliency can be different for each person or even different in each season. Like sometimes it's
Mm,
a big thing of like, hey, I'm fighting for this. This happened in my life. This event happened, and now I'm trying to bring the truth out and I'm fighting for that. But there can also be that quiet resiliency that we're fighting for in ourselves, like past trauma, maybe that someone's had, whether big or small, and they're dealing with trying to heal. They're dealing with how that affects their everyday life. And they're fighting a battle that 99% of the people out in the world don't even know. And because they're putting on a smile and showing up and
mm-hmm.
being like, I'm okay. But really, they're fighting a small battle.
Well, I think as women too, that's what we do.
Yes,
That's
we
what we're
do.
taught to do. You just go out there and you're the superwoman and you keep it all together and you're keeping everybody else together as well, no matter what's happening inside of you or your
Yes.
whatever your experience is at that moment in time. But um,
Yes, I think we do. And I think that that's what's really kind of unhealthy for us
oh my gosh, yeah.
because we need to allow people to come. I mean, I'm huge into community and
Hmm.
just to have that community come and say, all right, I'm fighting this little battle. Like it seems like this huge battle to me. But when you break it down and you have that community of your girlfriends that are your like tribe and they can say, all right, let's break this down into smaller pieces and how can we support you in this, then I feel like that helps you become more resilient because you have a tribe that is pushing you forward and not allowing you to stay stuck. And so that in itself is another resiliency that you have.
I love that. Just being seen by somebody else
Hmm.
and understood. Maybe they don't understand, but they're at least willing to see you and help you through this particular experience or these emotions, this
Right.
battle that you're dealing with.
And sometimes in our heads, we make it so big because it's to us very personal and
Right,
emotional.
right.
But then you have your friends and they're like, okay, time out. Yes,
Hmm.
we understand. We respect your feelings, but let's break it down a little bit and break it down into these bite-sized pieces. And then once you do that, you're like, oh, okay, that's not really that big a deal.
Well, like you said, in your head, we have these stories that we amplify, and it
Yes.
seems way bigger, and we can't see the forest because of the trees. Am I
Trees.
using
Yes.
that phrase correctly?
Yes.
Because you got these little stories running rampant. And if you have somebody from outside your head that can see it from a different perspective, it really gives you a lot of clarity.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's why I tell my kids all the time, like, it's really important who the five people are that you put around you because you want to make
Hmm.
sure that those humans are also people that have the same values you do and you trust them, that you know that in those moments that they're going to push you in the right direction
Oh my
and
God, that
actually have your best interests at heart.
yes, that is huge. And I didn't really get that. I know, I think as a young person, you don't understand that because you're moving forward in your education and
Yeah.
your growth with the same group of people. So you don't think about the importance of the quality of those people. But
Yes.
as you get older, you're like, oh, yeah, I get it now.
Oh yeah, as I got out of high school and then into college and then after college, I was like, "Oh, okay, now I see."
Yeah.
Were people I should not have been spending some time with.
Right, right. I guess we
Maybe I
all
should
have
have
to
made
come
some
into
better
that.
decisions.
Yeah, we have to come into that realization on our own. But if we
Yeah.
can hear it early and understand it early, it's going to save us a lot of headaches
Yes,
and
for
a lot of
sure.
trouble and a lot of embarrassment and that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Exactly, exactly.
So I love when you said resiliency can have a season or come with a season. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, I just feel like there's times where I don't know that sometimes it's one way it, and then another time it could be a different way. Like you may be having this more internal resiliency where you're showing up every day despite like being completely heartbroken over something and you're showing up and you're smiling. But then you get to a season where you're like, okay, now it's a bigger resiliency because I've told someone and I'm working through it and now I'm having to show up in my healing and it's like those different layers that you can have. And I feel like in that that's where that resiliency of different seasons can ebb and flow of what you're dealing with. Just my
Hmm.
opinions.
Yeah, I never thought about it in that regard. So thank you for that. And just working through it. I
Yeah.
think we, again, as women, we work through it. We think we need to work through it on our own.
Yes.
And, you already referenced community.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who feels she needed to work through some grief in her life on her own. And she was having trouble breaking through that belief that she had to deal with it on her own. And I was trying to encourage her to know you please go out and find supportive people, find that community, find somebody that's going to move you through it,
Yeah.
not to diminish her experience or her emotion, but
Right.
it's still, and I grew up like that, very independent.
Oh
My
yeah.
mom was like this. As a woman, as we mentioned, you do it on your own. And I think society celebrates that. Oh,
Yes.
superwoman can work 60 hours a week, bring home the bacon, raise the kids, perfect kids, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so, as a culture, and at least in the States, it's seen as a real positive to be able to do that. And I
Yeah.
think we really need to lead as examples and as role models that, oh no, if you're working through something, that's okay. You can show that, you can express that, you can be vulnerable around that.
Absolutely. Like
And
busyness, people think that that is like a badge of honor, and
yes,
honestly,
yes.
it's not. And it goes back to feeling like you can do everything.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't. When you take on the whole world, you're not strong enough to do that. Like you're gonna break at some point, and that's where that community and that support comes in. And so I feel like there can be a time where you're like, okay, I just want allow me a little space to deal with this on my own so I
Mm-hmm.
can work through those emotions, but don't let me go. Like keep coming back. Like with your friend, like, okay, maybe she said, "Hey, I need a little space," but you kept saying, "All right, are you ready yet?" You kept
Mm-hmm.
coming after her
Mm-hmm.
heart, kept coming after her to say, "All right, I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you find that next support that you need." And I think that that's huge because that's where that community goes in and it doesn't allow us to stay stuck. It keeps us walking through the process
Mm-hmm.
of breakthrough, of that resiliency, which is at the end breakthrough.
I
You know?
like that. Keep you moving forward
Yes.
because we can get stuck very, very easily
Yes, we can.
and stay there for many, many years,
Yes,
possibly, just spinning
absolutely.
those wheels, not understanding why nothing's happening in a positive direction.
Exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
again where we need other people that are outside of our head to help us with that forward movement and that
Yeah.
growth path.
The reason they say it takes a village is because it really does. It takes a village, and life was meant to be in relationships, so you need those relationships too.
I know we just keep needing that reminder, I think.
Especially
We're,
after COVID, I think we really
oh,
did
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
everybody was so spaced for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're like getting back into like getting comfortable going back into people's homes, interacting and being that close-knit community again. And I think once we finally really get back to that, it'll be a lot better for everybody.
Well, and the thing is, let's say thousands of years ago, like you said, it took a village
Hmm.
to raise a family and to survive and to protect each other. And
Hmm.
where did we lose that? Where we had this sense of independence and we could do it all ourselves. And
Right.
now we're trying to get back to that. Like, so I
Yeah.
don't know where it changed, but
Right.
um
But yeah, we need to get back to that community, that relationship where we rely on each other. I mean, I remember my grandma being like, "Oh, I don't have any butter today. Hold on, I'll be right back," and went to the neighbors. And but
mm-hmm.
I wouldn't text my neighbor to go just like go knock on the door. Hey, can I borrow some butter and I'll get you some later? Like I wouldn't do that. I'd be
But
like, all right, I gotta go to the store.
right,
you
right,
know,
right.
like
But to that generation, it was just a natural thing
yeah, it
to do.
was.
And then somehow we started putting up these barriers. I
Yes.
know where I now live, they've put fences everywhere in a residential neighborhood, fences, the big ones, the big
Oh
wooden
yeah.
stockade fences. And that's not something experienced back east.
Yes.
But it was just the weirdest thing. Like to me, it was that separation. And oh,
Yes.
maybe my neighbors don't want me to go knock on their door asking for
Right.
butter or whatever.
Right.
Just
Exactly.
stay with that example. But
That was when we lived in Colorado. Everybody, it was just open because we had so much wildlife, I think, that they needed
mm,
to pass. But then when we first moved to Tennessee, it was the same thing. The first neighborhood we were in, everybody was fenced off. And I'm like, well, how are we supposed to have our kids all play together? And how are we supposed to just go knock? So I did go knock on my neighbor's door because I'm like, hey, I'm new here. You have kids. I have kids. My name's Shannon. Like, do we want to be friends? But that's my personality.
that is true. Yeah, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
Moving to a new environment and having to create those friendships and
Yeah.
seek out that community. I just
Yeah.
read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Have you read that one?
No, but I've had so many friends that have
Oh
recommended
my
that book to
God.
me.
Do it. It's
Okay.
excellent. It is, and it talks about adult friendships and adult relationships and how as kids, we move through as a group. We all shared the same experiences, the same group of friends. And then as you said, when we graduate and move on, everybody just kind of splinters off and then there you are, you're trying to figure it all out.
Right.
And that's when it's important to realize, oh yeah, I need to be discerning when I'm choosing who I want to surround myself with. But
I
yeah,
agree.
it's a great book. I totally recommend it to anybody and everybody.
Awesome.
It's a lot
I
of
will
good
definitely check that
perspectives in
out.
there. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I do want to say that Shannon and I both share some common loves. We both love essential oils, and we both love this whole concept of strengths, or as I like to refer to them as superpowers.
Mhm.
So when she talked about that's how she is, her personality, I just happen to know a few of her strengths.
You're like, yeah, woo number one,
Yep,
going for
number
it.
one. So
I don't
it
have a
totally makes
stranger, never
sense to
been
me
a
that
stranger.
that's what she would do. Now I have woo at number 10 and I'm still a little bit I don't lean into it as much as you do with it being at number one. So
Yeah.
it's still something that I have a little bit of hesitancy around it. I
Yeah.
haven't owned it yet, but
I love it. Yes, yes. Strengths are amazing.
yeah, they give us so much information about ourselves
Yeah.
and the ability to articulate and share with others why we think the way we do, why we maybe behave in a certain way, and it's really
And I
empowering.
think they can tie right back into the resiliency that we've been talking about
Yep.
because
Yep.
we do things in a way that honors our the way we want things to do, or we're using our strengths. Like I have obviously different strengths than you do. And so the way I would do things, especially be resilient, is going to look a little different than yours, but we're still going to do it in the way that honors what's true about ourselves. And so I think that strengths definitely can play into all of resiliency as well.
And to be able to respect other people as they show up in their strengths and in their form of resiliency.
Yes,
As we said at the
exactly.
beginning, resilience has personal definition for each of us, I think.
Oh,
And
yes.
so to be able to respect and honor that in others without judging or critiquing or diminishing their thoughts around certain
Yes.
things and the ability to be resilient.
Yes, absolutely. I just had an experience this past week, and there were multiple of us involved, and it's been interesting because I asked one of the people, I was like, "Can I have your strengths report, please?"
Mm-hmm.
And she went, "Okay, sure," and sent it to me, and I went, "Okay, now I understand how you're dealing and reacting to the same situation that I'm in."
Mm-hmm.
But she was doing it differently. And there's not a right or wrong, obviously, but it helped me understand how I could support her in better, um, in this situation, knowing her strengths because we both have that strength knowledge. But so that was a really cool experience of just how like the strengths really do, like you said, we're gonna come at it in a different way, and and we each have that own personal resilience definition to ourselves. So that was,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
It allows me to be more accepting of others. And as I said, more respectful and more be able to honor their way of doing things with that
Absolutely.
understanding that I know everybody has their own strengths lineup and they're
Yes.
all doing life in their best way possible. And
Yes.
it's not for me to critique that or
No.
jump down their throat because it's not matching with my way of doing things.
Right. But and that's why it's so awesome because you can then get their report and then you can understand them better and learn more. So
Yeah,
I love
it's
it.
it's so eye-opening. It
Yes.
casts so much clarity on so many things,
Yes.
especially in close relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Gives everybody some room to be themselves.
Yes.
And yeah, if
Yeah.
we all knew our own strengths and everybody else's strengths, the world would be a better place.
We should have it as a badge, like as we walk around. These are my strengths. This way you know how I
Right,
operate.
exactly. Oh, that's why you said that. Or that's why you did that. Now I get it. What you just said with your friend.
Yeah.
After you
Yeah.
asked for their strength report, it gave you clarity and a
Hmm.
better understanding of why that person was doing
Why
what
she
they
was,
were doing.
yeah, because I wanted to help support her. So it was great.
Oh my God. Powerful, powerful thing. So
Yeah.
you were saying a little bit about a book that you're part of. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, so it's called The Art of Connection 365 Days to Resilience, and it will be out at the end of this year, 2025. And so each person gets to write a page to inspire people. There's going to be a book, a journal, and a calendar.
Oh,
And yes,
cool.
and it's all this year. It's all on resilience. So I'm super excited to be asked to be a part of it. And yeah, I'm super excited. We get to go it's going to be in the Library of Congress.
Ooh.
And yes, the last, so this is a series that they've done. And so this is the sixth one in that series. And all of them have gone international bestseller. So I'm
Mm.
kind of excited.
Oh, yeah, it is exciting.
So
Um,
yes,
so congratulations on that.
thank
And I
you.
love that it's called The Art of Connection, but it's all around resilience or
Yes, the whole
resiliency.
series is the art of connection. So
Okay.
last year's was on or this past 2020. Well, it came out in 2024 for, but it was or 2025. It was abundance, and they've had different themes for each one. So
Okay.
it's just a daily like devotional with, and now they've started including the journal because people have been wanting to journal with it. So
Oh, that is so cool.
yes,
Journaling around this whole concept of resiliency.
yeah.
Is that what it's going to be about?
Yes. So each day has its own, it ends with its own question. So you can ponder from that person's perspective of resilience or what they have to say about resilience on that day. So I think it's going to be really amazing because, again, we all have our own personal definition. And here's 365 people coming together and helping you be more resilient.
Wow. Yeah. We're not giving you the definition of resiliency or being resilient because we want you to think about it for yourself and see what
Exactly.
you think it is. Like
Yes.
I like to think of it as rebounding, being able to get back up after got to a low spot or your emotions really brought you down. And so that's how I think of it as. It's a way of coming back to yourself or even surpassing
Yeah,
from, a negative space up into something more positive and having
absolutely.
the tools and the resources and the community to be able to do that.
Absolutely. I agree. I think it definitely is that rebounding to come from that place of negativity or trauma and then being able to come to breakthrough at the other end. I
Mhm.
just think the breakthrough is on the other side of resiliency.
Yeah, yeah. And again, it sounds really heavy to have to do it yourself.
Yes.
So do it with a book, do it in community, do it
Yes.
with another few friends that can help you
Absolutely.
through something and help you get to the other side. And once you get to the other side, you are a stronger person because of it.
Yes. And resiliency isn't, it doesn't have to be this huge, big thing, in my opinion. It doesn't have to have this huge event. It could just be like, I mean, well, I was going to say, like, okay, you got let go from a job. Well, that's kind of bad. And you bounce back. But it could also be like, oh, I got a bad grade in school. Okay, well, you
Mm-hmm.
come back. There's different levels of resiliency, but it's
Mm-hmm.
how you handle yourself in that position. Are you going to just stop and quit and just I mean, you can wallow, but like just stay there, or are you going to say, okay, brush myself off. I'm
Yeah.
going to come back and I'm going to come back stronger.
Mm-hmm. Or are you going to pull everybody down with you to
With
that negative
yes,
place? Or are you
yes.
going to turn it around and be more uplifting
Yes.
and help others pull
Yes.
themselves up as well?
Because even every challenge, in my opinion, there's something to be grateful for because you're learning a lesson. And I feel like if you're learning a lesson now, you get to say, I'm thankful I get to learn this lesson now and don't have
Mm-hmm.
to continue to try and learn this lesson 10 other times. And because some of us can be a little stubborn. And so, um, guilty. So I have to just be thankful and grateful that I get to learn this lesson now. And so I try and take all of that, even when these challenges come, and just try and find the gratitude in there. Because I think that that is very helpful when you're trying to be resilient.
Yeah, gratitude is huge. It is absolutely huge. I mean, I've heard people who have learned to be grateful and create a gratitude practice for themselves. It was like life changing
Yeah.
and turned their lives around completely.
Oh, yeah. Gratitude is a huge part of my day. A
Mm-hmm.
huge part. Even every little thing. I mean, my kids will see a deer come across the road and into the yard, and they're like, thank you for our love present. Like, they're just so happy because
Mm-hmm.
they just sit in
Mm-hmm.
gratitude. Like, not everybody gets deer walking through their yard,
That's
or
true.
they see the stars at night and they're like, thank you for the stars, we are thankful for them. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I think it starts, for me, I wanted them to learn to be grateful at such a young age. But I think as
Mm-hmm.
long as we come from a heart of gratitude, every situation can be a lot, seem a lot better.
Oh my gosh, yeah, yeah. And and if it's not something you're used to, it might take a little bit of time to get that thing going.
Yes.
And, you might backslide a little bit, but once you maintain or create that gratitude muscle, it becomes easier and easier and easier. I mean, I'm like you, I can go
Absolutely.
through my day
Absolutely.
and find all kinds of things that little and big that I am
Yes.
so grateful for. Like it's really windy right now. Am I grateful for the wind? Not in general, but I love the way it moves the bushes and the trees around. And like there's always something I could
Yeah.
find to be
E-
grateful in that moment.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing you
Exactly.
have connectedness up there somewhere in
No,
you.
actually, I
Oh,
don't. No,
really?
I have belief.
Oh, belief. Okay.
Yep.
I would substitute then.
Yes. Yep. My husband has connectedness and belief. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I have
So,
connectedness high. Those are just some strengths for those of you that
yes.
don't realize what we're talking about.
Yes.
Sorry, I always have to reference something back to them because they're a big part of my life. But
Yes.
I so appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate you introducing your kids to gratitude at an early age. I wish I had learned about it earlier in my life. I remember suggesting to my mom way later in her life about finding three things a day to be grateful for because she was in a really dark place
Mm.
and always grumpy and complaining about everything. And I was trying to help her to break out of that because that's what
Right.
I do. And
Positivity.
she, yeah, positivity. And she just could not wrap her head around the concept.
Yeah.
And that kind of saddened me because I don't know if she thought it had to be something huge
Right.
or it could be something small. Oh, the sun's out today.
Yeah.
Yay.
Exactly.
You know, the
Yeah.
temperature is a little warmer today than yesterday. Like all of those things are worthy of being grateful for. So I applaud
Absolutely.
anybody who can bring their kids to that realization really early in life. So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Their
Thank
lives
you.
will be richer for that, for
Yeah.
sure.
And I just want to tell anybody listening, you and Teresa mentioned that like it don't start off with like thinking about 15 things. Start off with maybe 3 things that could be even small or little, like the temperature or hey, I even have a roof over my head today or you know
Hmm.
what? I woke up today. I'm thankful for that. That's
Oh,
just fine
yeah.
enough, like I had food, I had a piece of bread. Okay, it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be big things. It can be little things. I
Oh,
had
my gosh.
toothpaste to be able to brush my teeth.
Yes, yes. And when you don't have certain things, you do learn to appreciate and be grateful for them.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yes, I'm so glad I have toothpaste or whatever. I'm so
Yes,
glad
I'm
I
glad
have a
I have
pen.
5 loads of laundry
Yeah.
to
Oh,
wash
yeah.
today.
But all of the clothing that you are able to have in your world and for your
Yes,
family, like
exactly.
there's always two sides or multiple sides to anything. And it's up
Absolutely.
to you to be able to pick the side that's, again, life-giving and
Yes.
allows you to be more grateful and resilient.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Is
Thank
there
you.
any way that people, I did not phrase this well, but how can people get a hold of you if they want to connect more with you and hear about your book and whatever else you're doing out there in the world?
So my website, which goes to my link tree, is theshannonfox.com. It's the same Instagram is the.shannon.fox. So I'm there. But all my links are at theshannonfox.com.
And we will include those links with the description with this video. So you will be able to reach out to Shannon and connect with her. But maybe, well, when the book comes out, maybe we'll drop that link in as
Yeah,
well. That
that'd be
book will
great.
be available on Amazon, correct?
Yes, and we're hoping by December for everybody to get it for Christmas.
Yeah, perfect, perfect gift. So thank you, my friend. So
Thank
appreciate
you.
you again. I love what you're doing out there in the world. Thank you for spending some time with us and helping us think about resiliency and what it
Yes.
means to us.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Teresa.
And thank you to everybody who's tuned in and listened. I'm going to ask you to subscribe, share, like. If this was something you think was beneficial for somebody else, please share this episode with them and look for other wonderful, extraordinary women on my other episodes. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Shannon. We'll see you on the next episode of Evolving Women. Bye bye.